Hey, what's up guys? This is PokerXpress, and we are back with another episode of Poker Hands.
So when I have one of the hands you've had against me and you have one of the hands against me, we're gonna see how it goes. I hear you, buddy.
Today, we're going to be taking a look over the Day 2 highlights of the 2020 World Poker Tour in Russia. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos.
Your career is finished. You are gone, gone, gone.
Let's jump straight into the action.
Vadim L gonna raise it up to 4,500 here in the hijack. Do we have 3 Vadims at this table? I think we have 3 Vadims. Vadim S, clearly the superior Vadim here with the better hand, King Jack, in the small blind. It's gonna call. And Andre in the big blind with 8-6 is going to call as well. For a cheap price to see a flop, fairly reasonable. And it is King Jack Deuce. This could spell trouble for Vadim L because Vadim S has top 2 pair. Vadim L's got to feel good about his hand. I have a king, I have a 10 kicker. Like, I probably have the best hand here, but we can see, of course, the other Vadim has got him crushed. DML is going to go for a bet of 4,500. He's just got 41,000 chips left here. Around 23 big blinds if you include this bet. That is not a lot of room. Difficult to see him getting away from his hand here. Now, what is Vadim S going to do? Has a very strong hand, top 2 pair. A backdoor flush draw, but he puts in the raise on the flop. Is there any way Vadim L can get away from his hand? I think the standard move would just be to call King Jack here. It's such a strong hand. You block the club draw. But Vadim S does go for the raise, and maybe Vadim L can find a way out. So you call to the turn, 9 of spades, gives a straight draw to Vadim L, but Vadim S immediately goes all in, meaning Vadim L has to decide, do I call off for my 31,000 chips? Risk my tournament life here? He's got to be thinking, if my king 10 isn't good, maybe I could hit a queen to make a straight, maybe I could hit a 10 to make a better 2 pair. Maybe my opponent has a flush draw. Now, something interesting with the 9 is Queen 10, one of the straight draws that potentially could have played aggressively, just got there. So that's got to be something going through his mind. Just a very big cooler. From my perspective, Vadim L, you can't blame him for going broke here. It'd be an exceptional fold if he can find it. But you have 23 big blinds and you flop top pair with a reasonable kicker. Can he get away? All of you watching at home, ask yourself the question. Could you get away? I don't think I could. We do get a call. We are going to see a river here. 4 outs remain for Vadim L to stay alive in this tournament. He needs a queen and only a queen, or we will see Vadim S double through. Oh my God, it's a queen! Unbelievable. 9% going to the river. Bam. Pulls around to Alexi again in the hijack with the 10 and the 10. Very strong hand for 29,000 chips in his stack. He's going to want to play, but how? Does he go for the all-in shove or does he min-raise, trying to induce some action? He does go for the all-in shove, 29,000. And we see Vitaly on the dealer button with 5-5, a pretty good pair here. He's got to feel like he's got a decent hand at this stage of the tournament. He would have to call 14, just over 14 big blinds here to play. Now he does have to consider the two behind as well, and the small blind and the big blind. You wouldn't want them waking up with the monster and taking him out of the tournament as well. But of course, we can see the whole cards, and we know Alexi is really doing well against Vitaly's fives. Vitaly is going to go for the shove. I can't blame him personally for that move. And we're going to see a showdown here. 10s against 5s. Vitaly's 5s in rough shape against Alexi. Oh my goodness, it's a 5 on the flop. 7-6-5. Vitaly flopping the bottom set of 5s, and now Alexi only has 2 outs to remain in this tournament. Deuce of diamonds does no help. No backdoor straight draws. A 10 and only a 10 will save Alexi. Not meant to be. Good game. F for respect, Alexi. Busted to the set of 5s, and Vitaly chipping up. 30. Seen 2 bust outs so far. Several all-ins. Picking up the action, Ilya on the button with the ace-deuce offsuit. He's going to limp it in for 2,000. And now Vadim L behind in the small blind raises to 10,000, which is pretty big. About 5 big blinds here. And Ilya elects to call. So we go to a flop with 24,000 in the middle. We can see Vadim L has the best hand and flops trip 7s. 8-7-7, a huge flop for Vadim L, but can he get any money? We can see Ilya just has ace high. Vadim L continues with a 6,000 chip bet. And Ilya will call to the turn. Jack of clubs. We can see Vadim L has 100% lock on this hand. If it gets to showdown, I would expect it to. Now, does Ilya elect to bluff here? Does he turn his ace-deuce into a bluff? No, it goes check-check. And then 8 on the river. Vadim has a full house, 7s full of 8s. Ilya has 2 pair with an ace-high kicker. Could think his hand is best. Goes for the bet in the end. 6,500 here. Quite a small bet. An action on Ilya now. Motioning to see the chips. Could be considering a raise. The problem for Ilya is his hand might just be good enough to call in that you chop with the ace-kings, you chop with the ace-queens, you chop with the ace-10s. The ace-9s. You have the same hand as those. And by raising, sometimes you might be able to get a chop to fold, but you risk a lot of money against a 7 or an 8, which is possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. Looks like some chips are being put together. And a raise to 27,000. A quick call from Vadim L. And a big pot going to Vadim L. 91,000 in the middle by the end.
If you enjoy our videos and would like to see more, make sure to check out the links in the description and follow Party Poker as they are providing us with their content. Also, make sure to comment below what you would like to see next, and we will work on your ideas as soon as possible.
And we are going to go 4 ways to the flop here. It's quite an array of hands. Ilya's 6-5 of clubs under the gun. Vadim's Jack-10, which is completely missed here. Vitaly's Queen-3 of clubs on the button. And Alexander's Deuce-3 suited in the small blind. Now the only person to hit a pair is Ilya, who was the original raiser. No one can feel particularly happy about their hand, though. Ace-7, 6-4 ways, king on the turn. Not very many people would bet on a 6 being the best hand here.
7,000. Call. Pass.
6 on the river. Ilya has trips. Alexander has a flush. The worst possible card for Ilya. Making trip 6s. I don't think he can get away here. You make trips on the river. Alexander's going to bet 20K. I can't think of a worse river. Did Ilya just raise? To 43,000. Alexander calls. The flush is good. Ilya going for a very thin raise, and we can see Alexander with the flush. Gonna take down a huge pot there. 115,000 in the middle. Alexander all the way up to 179,000. Ilya now down on 196. Massive pot. Maxim with the 5s under the gun +1. Goes for the all-in shove. Sitting on 11 big blinds. And Andre here on the heater looking down at the 10-10. Surely going to make the call, and he does. And now Andre D, our short stack, has ace-10 offsuit. Correctly gives it up here. Igor folds. Anatoly in the small blind, sure to fold. Ernest in the big. Fives against 10s. Maxim has 19.4% here. He's going to need to hit a 5 or run out of straight. Ace-7, 6, 2 clubs on the flop. Some backdoor flush on straight draw. Oh my goodness, 8 of clubs on the turn. 32%. Oh, it's a club. Maxim with the flush. Beating the pocket 10s. Up to 72,000. What a turn card. That 8 of clubs brings in all the club draws, all the straight draws, the fives. So we see Ernest with kings under the gun +2 is going to raise 6,500. And Andre, our table chip leader, has queens in the small blind. Disaster for Andre, and Ernest, after giving it up on the river and losing that huge pot, has got Andre pipped. Revenge could be coming here for Ernest. And you look at how deep these stacks are. Ernest is over 90 big blinds deep. Andre has him covered. We see the 3-bet from Andre M, which you'd expect with the queens, to 22,500. And how this hand is going to go... Is Pavel going to make a play here? No, he folds it. How this hand is going to go really comes down to how Ernest plays this right now. Is Ernest going to go for the 4-bet? Is Ernest going to call? Or is Ernest going to shove? We know Andre has queens. But there is a lot at stake in this next decision for Ernest. $100,000 it is. 106,000. That is a 4-bet to less than all in, but for more than a third of Ernest's stack. So it's kind of a sizing that's in between the two options. It's not necessarily a 4-bet with the ability to fold. It's kind of like a half all in. There's the shove from the queens. There's the call from the kings. And a huge pot in this tournament right now. 574,000 in the middle. And Andre M, our table chip leader coming into this hand, is in terrible shape against the kings. Ernest feeling great, getting revenge for that tough hand with the jack. But has to sweat 19%. We go to the flop. 3 cards. It's clean. 7, 6, 10. King still well ahead. Andre needs a queen here. Turn is a 6. A queen and only a queen will save Andre in this pot. 574,000 in the middle. It's a 10 on the end. And Ernest with a huge pot up to 574,000. A full double up on almost 100 big blinds here on day 2. Massive cooler. Andre didn't do anything wrong here, it's worth saying. There's nothing Andre can do with the 3rd best hand in No Limit Hold'em. Your opponent is capable of having jacks, of having 10s, of having ace-king, of having random stuff. They just played a huge pot. A tragedy for the queens and a triumph for the kings. 574K for Ernest.